Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to another episode of Soulevision, the safe channel to your soul. We're on episode 9. That's crazy. How y'all been? How's your week going? I hope it's going well. My week is a little stressful, but it's fine. But yeah, we're back on another Tuesday. So if you are new here, hi, my name is Ashley Dukes. I'm not sure if I said that, but I'm Ashley Dukes. And I decided to start this podcast because I just felt like there's a lot that I needed to say. And I feel like it's part of my purpose to say the things that I need to say, because why else would they come to my head? Who else am I speaking to? Because I only got one friend. But, yeah, I just feel like there's certain things that you need to hear. And if you clicked on this video, then it's something that you need to hear. And it's not just a coincidence. It's literally, it's like, I don't know, whatever you call it. If you want to call it universe, you call it the universe. But I feel like there's certain things that come to my brain that other people need to hear. Like, obviously, I need to hear certain things that I say. And I learn different lessons from myself. But I just feel like part of my purpose, really, if I just sum it down, if you're new here, part of my purpose is being kind of a messenger, I would say, and delivering messages to you that you might need, that might speak to you in whatever walk of life or whatever part of life you're going through. And yeah, so if you're here, it's not by coincidence. It's not just by happenstance. You're supposed to hear this message. All right. If you aren't new here, and if you have been watching for a while, which is 9 episodes, which is probably 3 of you guys, I'm going to say a rough 7. I'm gonna say 6 people, right? But if you have been here for a while, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, give a rating, all that stuff, because it means a lot. And only give honest opinions. Like, I don't need you to lie for me, but if you want to, you can, because that's your business, not mine. But yeah, let's keep this going. I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying the feedback, and yeah. So we're going to jump into our affirmations. And with our affirmations, I have about 10 of them, about 10 to each episode. And I say them. I want you to say them with me so that we can have some positive self-talk and we set the vibes. So this segment, if I'm not mistaken, it's called affirmation vibes. That's kind of cheesy. But good vibes is kind of cheesy too. Let's call it the vibes. All right? All right. Oh, my ear itches. I am courageous and I stand up for myself. My thoughts are filled with positivity and my life is plentiful with prosperity. Today, I abandon my old habits and take up new, more positive ones. Many people look up to me and recognize my worth. I am admired. Aww. I am blessed with an incredible family and wonderful friends. Yes. I acknowledge my own self-worth. My confidence is soaring. Everything that is happening now is happening for my ultimate good. I am a powerhouse. I am indestructible. Though these times are difficult, they are only a short phase of life. My future is an ideal projection of what I envision now. And those are our affirmations. Comment, like the video if you like those affirmations, because I really like them. I like doing them every episode. I like setting the tone and the mood and the vibes and getting our headspace correctly so I can snatch your edges for the next thing. I wouldn't say I snatch edges, but I just feel like I just say things that I don't even say that people are scared to say, but like just people just don't talk about, and people don't want to hear about themselves or about their situations and like the real truth on certain topics. So obviously I'm not like these other people that say they speaking the truth, but like it's very like aggressive. That's just not my style. I'm not an aggressive person, but I think I like this. I like to snatch your edges quietly and gently. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to hurt while I snatch them, but I'm going to snatch them still. You know what I'm saying? They going to be gone regardless, but they're not just going to be snatched out. All right. So for our deep segment, did I name it? Oh, I didn't name that deep. Our deep segment, we're gonna say snatch. Let me snatch your edges real quick. And then I have a question that I'll probably answer myself because I am on the podcast and by myself. And that's what happens when you're by yourself. Comment, do you guys prefer podcasts with one person, two people? And if so, or if you're on the edge, because I feel like I like certain podcasts with one person and I like other podcasts with two people. And the ones with one people, I don't even call it a podcast, but it is a podcast. But with one person, I like it for it to be like these kind of topics. And for two people to just be like, you know, they're not really talking about nothing crazy. They're just two people in a room having a conversation for an hour kind of thing, which I think is cool. Maybe one day. I think I want to do that one day. Well, I know my husband wants to start a podcast. Well, we want to start a podcast together, so we'll probably do that later. So the deep topic of today is ... Trying to change someone who hurt you will not heal your inner wounds. It's up to you. So this topic, it ties into closure. Not necessarily like last week. If you don't know, we talked about how you don't need closure to move on or to heal. I'll put a link somewhere up here. Hopefully, you know, when people have a YouTube channel and they say I'll put the links up here and they don't, that might be me. So if not, just go on the page. It's episode 8. But what was I gonna say? It ties into that episode, but like there's an in-between piece, and then we get to hear, like, if you're the type of person that wants closure and said things that you need closure, 9 times out of 10, you will be also trying to make that person change for you. Or you tell them how they hurt you and expect for them to feel remorseful or want to change for you, right? So even if it's just not in that situation, if you have ever been hurt by someone, if anyone has ever caused you pain or trauma, most of the time what we try to do, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, it just really depends. There's no right or wrongs in this situation, in any kind of situationship or relationship that you have, and how you go about trying to heal yourself. I just try to help you go the easier route. And even the only wrong way to do things in this journey, in this niche of life, or this part of life, or this subject that I talk about, is if you continue to be around people that don't treat you right. That's the only way you can go wrong, right? But here I am, as my job is to be the messenger for you. When you have been hurt by someone, most of the time we try to confront them, right? Either by wanting to receive closure or by just trying to get them to know that they did you wrong, right? And expect for like an apology, which is closure. So they kind of tie into each other. I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling and the episode just started, right? But yeah, you tell them about like how they hurt you, what they did wrong, blah, 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 blah. And most of the time we expect for them to understand us as we are in this part of our healing journey, and they won't, because they're not on that healing journey, right? So this goes twofold, and I wasn't sure if I would go into 2 parts, but here I am talking about going to the 2 parts. So it's like on one end, or they're on the same end, you can't, once you're in your healing journey, and this kind of goes into the question that I was going to ask, but once you're in your healing journey, it's just you. It's just your journey. And you know this, if you watch my other videos, this is a journey for you, right? But you realize that once you realize that the people around you aren't on the same boat, and they don't have to be on the same boat. It's not required. They can still be your friend. They can still be family members and not want to be on that boat. Unless, like I said, the only wrong thing you can do is be around people that hurt you, right? So what you notice is like you're on this journey and you're starting to speak up for yourself and, you know, realize that certain people have been doing you wrong. You've been around a bad environment, blah, 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 blah. Now you start voicing, you know, how you feel to those people that are around you that, one, remember, they're not on the same healing journey as you. They're not going to receive it the same way because they're not trying to heal. One, you have to realize that even if they do change, it's not going to help you heal because the pain that they have caused has already been caused, right? And we already know that. But I think if you just zoom out a little bit, that pain is still going to be there. You still going to have to heal from that pain. There's, you know, you're going to still be triggered by that pain. And I feel like I say this in every episode, trying to get them to change might not be in their best interest. And that's fine if they don't want to. And you can't be hurt if they don't want to. You can be hurt if they cause you more trauma. But you can't be hurt if they don't want to change because they don't have to want to change because you want them to change. You get what I'm saying? If you want to change, you change. You can't force nobody else to change. And you got to know that for some reason, I think that what I'm skipping and saying, and it's in my head, but I'm not saying it out loud, is that we expect for when we tell people what they did wrong to us, we expect them to change. We expect that when they hear how we feel, they should automatically change because obviously we're hurting and we feel like our own feelings matter while we're in this part of our journey. You get to that point where it's like, oh, I matter. And you think that once you tell this person how they hurt you, they're going to change for you. And you'll be rudely awakened by the fact that they don't want to change. But that's also fine because this journey is yours. Nothing they do, nothing they can do or will do will help you heal. This can help them if you want them to change. Them changing can make them become a better person, but still doesn't negate the fact that you have to heal from what they caused. You know what I'm saying? I think it happens to almost everyone on their journey where they are realizing or coming to light or becoming woke to certain things that they were able to deal with because they didn't realize how problematic and traumatic those things were. And once they do, they realize that those people are still in the same space that you were in, so they don't see anything wrong with it. Sometimes, unfortunately, you do have to see things from someone else's point of view, not because you have to understand them, but you have to understand why they're not receiving things the way you probably would at this state. You have to go back and remember how you used to be and how you probably would have been triggered, right? This is not giving people an excuse to be terrible. This is not giving people an excuse to gaslight. This is not giving people an excuse to make you feel like you're crazy or whatever it may be. It's not giving that kind of excuse, but you also do have to understand that they are not on that journey with you. They're not trying to grow. And in some people, they will want to cut them off. Some can tolerate it. I think it really just depends on personality. That's not for me to tell you to do because you got specific instances. I got specific instances and our instances might not be tied together, right? So that is one thing that you will for sure realize on your journey. Some people are okay with just staying where they are. They're okay with ignoring the things that are wrong with them or the things that they do to people that are wrong. They're okay with living in chaos. They're okay with whatever abuse. They're just okay with it, and they found peace. They found their false peace in that. Let me not say peace because that ain't peace. They found their false sense of peace in that. And you cannot force them to do anything they don't want to do. So that leads me on to my question. Do you think it's healthy for friends and family to try to force you to heal or start your healing journey? Now, when I say force, I mean like they make you feel bad or like they shun you or, talk down about you because you aren't on this wave of healing like they are. So say, for instance, since we're in this healing journey, right? Let's look at it from a friend of ours that's not healing and we be that friend. And the person that is in their healing journey is down talking on that friend, like you gonna stay right there, you gonna stay in that abusive relationship because you don't want to heal, you're not trying to listen to me, I'm trying to tell you what to do, but you just want to stay around that, blah blah blah. Like if you have people that are trying to force you, like just like how we were forced into church and forced into, oh no. I think it's a type of force I'm trying to be specific on. So force as in trying to force by fear, like how they did in church, or being aggressive with it. Like, I feel like, no, actually, you answer the question, right? Should I give you time to type? I don't know. But I don't think that it's okay or healthy for your friends or family to force your friends and family, or your friends and family to try to force you to be on a journey that you're not ready for, because honestly, you might not be ready for it. You can't just have someone jump into something that they're not ready for. Because I think on your healing journey, you have to hit a certain point. The point might look different, but you have to hit a certain point where it's like, okay, enough is enough. With some people, before they start their healing journey, they hit a point of a rock bottom, or like a realization that like struck them and like snapped, or your brain just developed and like everything from your childhood start playing back, and you start realizing that there was something wrong, or even what in your relationship, it just plays back. I want to say it's mainly for most people, it's on the developments of your brain. And I think for me, I would say me personally, it was my brain development, and it was me being away from that environment that allowed me to see things clearer, right? But then for other people, I think that since everyone is not the same, we all are different. We all are different types of learners. So why would our healing journey start the same? I don't think that would be the case. So I think for other people, they need someone that is healed, or is on their healing journey, or is advanced in their healing journey than they are, or is more advanced on their healing journey than they are, that can help them on the way. But remember, notice I say help and not like try to force them, like try to down talk them into I'm doing this like I'm flinching at somebody, but that's how it feels. Like, that's not healthy. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's not a good friend or family member. Now, I get that some people really don't know how to speak to people, and maybe you got to work on that, because that's just not how you speak to people. So yeah, I think that either you started your healing journey on your own, you hit rock bottom, you hit a point where it's like, okay, and now I'm starting to realize things that aren't right. You see someone that has been through a immense amount of pain or trauma that you know about, and you see them on their healing journey, and you see their strength, and you see them starting to choose happiness and choose to enjoy life, or you are that friend or that person that needs someone to speak to you, like speak life into you. I think it really just starts all on different ways and wavelengths, but never ever does it end well with forcing. I don't think anything you force on anyone in any realm ever works out in a good way, honestly. So I want to end this segment by saying it's all up to you. Your healing journey is up to you. How well it goes, I'm not going to say it's up to you. But the choice to keep fighting is up to you. It's not going to go well all the way. And I'm pretty sure that most people expect for their healing journey to go well. So that's why I said it probably won't, like the way it goes might not be up to you. Like the ups and downs, because those downs, you never know when it's going to hit. But they do for sure hit. So just get ready for the downs. But the choice that you make to come up from the downs is your choice. It's your choice to heal your inner wounds. It's your choice to be or not be around people. It's your choice. It's not your choice. You cannot make the choice to try to change people. Because that is not your job. It's not your job. That's going to make your life really hard. You're going to be heartbroken. You're going to be sad. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be upset. You're going to be confused. No. You think that it's like you come to someone and you finally realize like, oh my gosh, I know what's wrong with me. And it's you. It's something that you did. Like, you're not even coming at it in a way of trying to be disrespectful or trying to be aggressive, but it's going to be taken that way. But trying to, big all caps trying, because you cannot change people that don't want to change. So now, if you don't realize, if you're going on this road and you don't realize that you can't change people that don't want to change, you are now exhausting yourself trying to do so. But in the end, when people want to change and people want to do better, they'll just do that. If they want to stay in the same place as they are, they will also just do that. Everything is still a choice. Remember, everything is still a choice. You can't try to change people that don't want to change, because they're not going to receive your trying to change them as something positive. They're not going to see the great things that healing gives you. They're not going to see all of that. They're too piled up under too much stuff that it's just not going to be a good look. And I'm just trying to look out for you, homegirl. So, just like last week, I feel like I'm being repetitive. So I think next week we're going to do something a little different. Let me know if you think it's repetitive. I feel like, yes, these topics are different, but some of them are really tied together. I think the healing process is complex but simple at the same time. So that's probably what it is. And which is the reason why I stopped really making videos in the beginning. We're going on a little tangent, but I stopped making videos in the beginning because I felt like I was repeating myself, and I didn't feel like people wanted to hear me repeat myself over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But it feels like people like to, it feels like to me, I'm just being a super critical person of myself, which I mean, that's natural for me because that's just how I am. But I am trying to I'm not going to stop, but I'm trying to get out my head into thinking that I am repeating myself, which I think that from you guys, it doesn't sound like I'm repeating myself, but it's just a me thing. And that is that. So back to trying to hurt. Wait, no, we're not trying to hurt nobody. I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to add to that, because I don't want to repeat myself in the same video, but I want to make sure that everything is out. You can't change people that don't want to change. You can't do it, and you can't do that, and you can't go on this quest of trying to change someone and expect for that to be your good deed to heal your inner wounds. No, that's not what it is. That's not how it will ever be. It's never going to be like that. It's up to you. You choose to speak to them, that's fine, depending on how they're going to respond. You know the person. I said this last week. But all in all, stop thinking that all these outside factors are going to be the thing that is going to make you feel better. I think that I know for personally, and I also forgot to mention in the beginning of this video, all these deep topics are things that I have been through personally, which I think I can speak on and share light to. All right. So me personally, I used to think that if I did X, Y, and Z, helped X, Y, and Z, was around X, Y, and Z, if I told X, Y, and Z how I felt, blah, blah, blah. If I did all these things, it was going to help me feel better. And it's going to make me, at the time, I didn't even know what healing was. I didn't even know what my traumas were. I just knew that I needed something to make me feel better about myself, feel better about my situation, feel better about all the things that I was going through. So I thought doing all these things, checking these boxes off in my own head was going to be the thing that helped me heal. And do you know what the answer was? None of it. So you just wreck your brain trying to do all these things. Now, in my case, I wasn't necessarily trying to change people. I found myself kind of trying to change people in my adult life, because that's when I realized certain traumas that were real for me. And I didn't realize, I think here's the thing. I didn't realize, and I don't think you realize, or anyone that's watching or listening or has gone through something like this, I don't think we realize, I'm saying we, here to the we, I don't think we realize that we're trying to change people, right? So this is how it went for me. I was living my life, I know I was like, depressed, whatever. Had anxiety, but I thought that was just, that was just a me thing. I didn't know what it was coming from. I didn't know, like, I didn't have anyone to really talk to or like really help me in that aspect, even if there were people that knew, quote unquote, after I said that I was going through these things it was years after, maybe a year after when I came out and said it to certain people, right? And at the time, I didn't have, there was no resources for me. So I just thought that, okay, well, this is normal. This is something that I just have to carry around for the rest of my life, which I think that depression is, doesn't really always all the way go away. It comes back. It does depression be dipping in, dipping out, like be on a long vacation sometimes and then come back in. It just really depends on what it wants to do. Depression has a mind of its own, but I do have tools that allow me to, I've healed through things, so it doesn't allow me to go as deep as I used to go, but I have tools that help me to get through it, which is always the choice. I think the biggest tool that I have is the choice, right? Where was I going before this? I was talking about we don't realize that we're trying to change someone. Okay, so the steps were I was realizing, all the things that were causing my depression and anxiety. I was realizing, like, okay, these things connected. Oh, snap, I forgot this. I remember this. Like, I remembered so many things that were very tremendous on the trauma side in my life that I've been through, dealt with, seen, heard, experienced, right? And all of my childhood, I didn't, process it as that because, one, I realized that I had fight, flight, fawn, and there's another F, but I was a fawn. And fawn means to just go along with, whatever trauma, you be quiet, blah, blah, blah. That's my response. That's how my response was. So nobody knew about my traumas. I didn't even have healthy relationships with the adults in my life I don't want to say healthy. I just didn't have those kind of open relationships with the adults in my life for various reasons. If you guys want to get into it another time, we can. But I just didn't have those connections to even speak to anybody. So therefore, all of it was inside. So I just, hunkered it down because I learned different ways that we operate in our house. You don't say anything, blah, blah, blah. I talked about that in a couple episodes. I didn't have those relationships, so I just kept it all in. And it wasn't until, I graduated high school and somewhere in between college, no. I realized, in high school, graduating high school or in high school and then college, I realized, there's certain big things that I remembered or that stayed with me. And then when I got older, that's when I realized, oh, these aren't things. I can't ignore these things. I thought that you can just go on. So in high school, graduating from high school, college areas, I realized that the big things that were wrong with me, things that happened to me, right? Not necessarily things that were wrong with me, but things that happened to me, things that caused me to be the way I am, certain things that I didn't like how I was because certain people shaped that, and that trauma affected me, right? Depression, anxiety were bad, but I thought it was because of school and not because of the bigger things that were bigger than school that was going on with me. Once I got older is when I realized that there were other things that, how do I explain this? Once I got older, I realized that I cannot ignore these things anymore. That's not how you get through things. There has to be a different way to get through them, right? So I was working on my own stuff for years. And then, as I went deeper into the healing journey, I realized, certain characteristics that I have, where it came from, how it stemmed, every single thing stemmed. And I want to say this also, because there are some things that might not stem from your childhood or a trauma, but most of the stuff is from a trauma. So I was diving deep, like certain things that I won't say didn't like about myself, that weren't things that. So I had like an internal battle, if I would say so myself. I had an internal battle of like how I act versus how my brain wants to act, right? So my body is in a defense like my body is always in a defense mode, where my brain doesn't understand it. Like my brain doesn't it can't understand it at that time. Like my brain and my body, or maybe two different types of brain. My brain, I don't really know. Two different parts of my brain, I don't really know. But it was like my body was in conflict because I wanted to do certain things. I wanted to be a certain way, like how I used to be. But then my body was like, no. Or was my brain that wanted to be a certain way and my body was like, no. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I had just had an internal conflict. So I was trying to figure out why, and then I pinpointed why. So I wouldn't say things were wrong with me. That's just a short way of saying it, but what can I call that? I'll just call it internal conflict. So I was just having an internal conflict within myself because I knew like who I used to be, how I wanted to be, like how I am versus like what I am. Like knowing how I am and how I should be, or how I used to be versus how I am now. That makes sense? There was just a lot of internal stuff going on, right? So I knew that there was something there was a disconnect within myself. Whew. I had an internal disconnect between those two things. So with that internal disconnect, it allowed me to pinpoint where the disconnects were, like what pieces caused the disconnect and where they stemmed from and all that stuff, right? So I went to the people that were in charge of me, right? And at first I wasn't really trying to, like I said, reason why I went down this whole rabbit hole, I wasn't really trying to change them, but I was trying to let them know, like, because if you don't know, backstory, I do have children, and obviously if there's people that are in your life that cause you trauma, you don't want them to then cause your kids trauma, right? So that's the backstory, and the only reason why I decided to confront these people, because I felt like either you have me and my relationship, or if you have a relationship with me, then you have a relationship with my kids. But if not, then you don't have a relationship with any of us, right? And I'm not the type to keep my kids away from people, blah, 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 right? So I went to the people that were in charge of me. Okay, we're calling parents, the people that were in charge of me. Nah, I went to a parent, and like I said before, now, hindsight, I can see that in the beginning, they just weren't ready for change. And that's fine. And I wasn't supposed to be trying to change them, right? But I don't think my intent was to try to change them. So I just went up and said, I have these issues, like these are the things that's wrong with me. I have this trauma, this trauma, this trauma. And I didn't go into the details because we weren't able to get there yet, and we will probably get there soon. But what I did do is come and tell them, certain things that bother me about how I grew up, that bothered me about, all the things that had happened to me. And I went into talking about certain issues that I had growing up, and I just was very broad, like going around the subject, because if I'm being honest, that's kind of scary if you know what kind of people you're dealing with. Okay, so I think next week we're going to talk about the 3 layers of people, of certain kind of people. How about that? Because I learned that today, and I don't want to spill the beans because I feel like that should be another episode that doesn't tie along in this, right? So I was going around the topic because I was scared, and honestly, I think that in this situation, mine specifically, the people that were in charge of me they thought that I had a great life because I just never said anything. I told you the way I respond to things, the way that I was taught to, to treat things when it happened. You just ignore it. You just act like it didn't happen, right? So they thought that I had a great childhood and are the type of people that are combative. If you are saying something about them, they don't want to hear bad things about themselves. No one does, but very combative, very emotional, very just doing a lot, right? So I would just went around and skipped around the topic of like, you know, my trauma, but I didn't go into any specific traumas, right? Until I had to, and I just went into very small amounts. And it was like, when I did that, I was not met with understanding. I was not met with compassion. I was met with aggression. So my head, I'm confused because I'm like, I'm just here to tell you, right? I went in, I think that I thought with certain things, even before this conversation, I was tiptoeing around me having a mentally troubled or challenging or hard childhood, right? And instead of being met with compassion and understanding, like someone trying to understand like what was going on, like what's wrong, honey, kind of thing. You don't got to be that sweet, but I was met with aggression. And it was just like, I thought that me coming to you and telling you this would, one, make you understand or change how you are, because change from this person that I wasn't able to speak to. Yeah, I thought me coming to you and telling you this information would make you change from being the person that I was scared to talk to, and probably am still, I wouldn't say scared to, but not comfortable speaking to you because this is how you are. So I thought that I was going to be able to change you. And then on the other hand, I thought it was going to help me get over the things that I thought it was going to help me heal, which it did neither one of those. Right? So that's why I'm telling you, I'm sorry, my voice is just doing stuff. Should have had water near me. So that's why I'm telling you this. It's not because I just read something. It's because that's what I've been going through, or I have went through. Sorry, I got to go get some water because my voice is not acting. All right, I'm back. So yeah. So I went in thinking that me saying that was going to change how she was, how we were going to be able to move forward and all that stuff. But both the way I thought it was going to help make her change and the way I thought it was going to help me heal, none of that happened. It honestly drove me further into a hole because I was hurt more now. It hurt me more that I wasn't met with compassion. It hurt me more that it hurt me more realizing that this route is not going to be the route to help me heal. And then now what? What do I do now? Because most of the time, you know, when people are brave enough to speak up to people that have troubled them, not saying my parents have troubled me, but like now I'm speaking of in cases with assault, like when the victims are able to speak up and speak their truth and like say what they want to say to that person, you normally think that it was supposed to help make them feel good. But if it's not received well, what can you do? You save yourself the time, the emotion, the hurt, and say it to someone else. Heal from the inside. Well, do your inner work, but if you need to say it out loud, say it to someone else. Talk to a therapist. Like, I'm not against therapy. I'm not. But most of the time, going to that person will do more hurt than good, and now you got to heal from two things instead of one. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, when we go in and we think that we're being genuine, and we think that we're trying to express how we feel and trying to open up to people that hurt us, thinking that this will help. I think we intentionally do try to change them and do expect them to change to be the person that we want them to be. Like, you would want your parent or guardian or cousin, uncle, aunt to be a great person and to treat you nicely and to be understanding and compassionate. But the reality is sometimes you don't get that. And it's very harsh and something that I had to tell myself. But I think it's better once you either realize that or you have someone like me that tells you, like, hey, you don't need this from that person. Because that saves you so much mental energy. Okay? And I'm not saying that once you're met with aggression that there's no way to get through it. I think I'm just going to use that part and that piece because there's ways to... People are people, and there are ways that people are able to receive things, and that will be in the next episode, and like how to... I don't know what to call it yet. So don't make me say something that it's not true. But yeah, you have me here to tell you that it's not going to help you heal. It's not going to make them change. Yeah. It'll probably mess up the way you see them, because that happened to me too. Like it destroys the sense that you thought they had, but they don't have. That's for sure is what's going to happen. But even if it is received well, it's not going to help you heal. Like, you still got to go through those emotions. You still got to go through the steps of healing. You still got to do all that. And it's unfortunate that, we got to heal from so much stuff, from so many people, from so many different aspects, and from different stages of our lives. It's not fair. So, yeah, we might not go in with the intent to try to change someone, but there's a small part of it that is, like, expecting of change. And I'm going to be honest there. I'm not going to say like, oh, I just want to say this to you. Like, in the first stage, it is like, in you speaking your truth is you expecting change. I think. Comment how you feel. Comment how you feel about that question. Y'all got me rambling and talking a lot. I really hope I didn't miss any steps or any pieces. But I've been talking for about 30 minutes, and we have not moved on to not another subject topic. What am I talking about? We in school? So yeah. Yep. Now we're gonna let loose. We're gonna breathe a little bit, because I got a little bit of headache. But I'm here because, in spite of. That's what I meant to say. All right. So in this segment, if you're new here, do y'all... I'm asking like I got a big following, but I'm going to ask anyways. Do y'all like when I repeat what each segment is? Should I do it for new people? I don't really know. I'm new at this. You're new at listening to me. So something's in my throat and I feel it, but it's not... All right, so this part we are getting from Reddit. Honestly, while I'm scrolling through Instagram, these things just pop up because I follow them, obviously. First topic: when it comes to relationships, what's the hardest lesson you've had to learn? Sometimes, even though you love each other and seem great together, if you don't want the same things, you have to break up so you can both be happy. Very true. Very true. I think those are the worst because you don't have a reason, like a real concrete reason as to why you need to break up. Like, most of the time when people break up, it's for pain. Like, I feel like I say pain a lot, but it's from, either a toxic relationship or someone, infidelity, blah, blah, blah. Some source of pain and heartbreak. But if you guys really love each other, but you just don't want the same things, it's like, yeah, you can't compromise, but those are big things, but it's not like, I don't know how to explain it. It just makes it harder because you love that person. Like, there's nothing about that person, them in general, that makes you not love them. You know what I'm saying? A short summary of my related story. I was 22 male when I met her, 36 female, single mom who had 2 kids. We started dating, fell in love, kept dating for 3 years. I realized that what I want, which is to move abroad like the opposite end of the earth, and what she wants, which was to have another kid or 2 before she gets too old for it, just don't align. It was either one of us giving up on our big dreams or splitting up and having a chance at achieving them. I made the difficult decision. We broke up, and last time I heard from her, she was happily married with another and had another kid. I made my own dream come true and moved to New Zealand. Just 2 more years and I'll become a citizen. The breakup made me feel awful for a year or so, but I'm glad I had the strength to do it. Yeah, I think that takes more strength. That's what the word is. All right, next. It sucks when you realize you're not as important to the other person as they are to you. That has always been, not always, in my adult life, that has always been a big fear, not just in romantic relationships. Oh, someone says, I think this includes regular friendships as well. Hurts, man. Yes. I feel like I have more friendship trauma than relationship trauma. Because I haven't been in many relationships. And the times where it should have been heartbreak, I was too young to even realize it was heartbreak, and I wasn't really attached. So, thankfully, I don't know. But someone said, agreed. It's happened to me far more often in regular relationships, only once romantically. And the reason it hurt so much was the romance sprang from a very close, I thought, friendship. My condolences that you had to learn that too. Yes, I feel like friendships hurt more because I feel like you put a little more trust in a friend. Like, I don't know, maybe friendships form faster than romantic relationships, maybe, because, sometimes you go a little slow, depending on what slow is for you. My slow might be fast for you. Anywho, next, a red flag is a red flag is a red flag. Or as a wise owl once said, when you look at someone with rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. I'm gonna say that again. When you look at someone with rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. Yeah. Yeah. A red flag is a red flag is a red flag. That's good. Shitty behavior is not a one-time thing. Red flag is a red flag. I recently learned this one. I had to tell someone I was extremely interested in that I think it's best I stop talking to them. I was always asking to hang out just as friends, get to know them, and do stuff. And they would always throw me off and not respond to anything I would send them. This goes for friendship as well. See, a lot of people have been hurt by friendships. It's them friendships, man. I don't know, like, when you have a friend, you don't expect for them to betray you. I think that's what it is. When you have a friend, you don't expect for them to betray you, because it's like, in a relationship, it's like your betrayal will probably be like cheating or whatever. But like in a friendship, it's like there's no really cheating. You shouldn't be hurting me. You know what I'm saying? Next, say how you feel. It is always worth being honest with someone. Growing up, my family always told me I was too sensitive if I ever said how I felt about anything, or too difficult. So I was really scared to open up to anyone. Yes. To add to this one, you're too much. You're too much. Quote, end quote, you're too much. No, quote, you're too much, end quote. But I wanted to share a quote. I don't know who from, but it said, you are never too much for someone who can't get enough of you. True, true, true. Next, you absolutely cannot change someone else's behavior. When I tell you these videos are connected, not by coincidence, you absolutely cannot change someone else's behavior. Didn't I just say that? You can't change nobody. But it says, I won't go so far as to say that people can't change, which is true. People can change, but you can't change them. I spent way too many years trying to be the girl that they said was worth it. And in the end, I never was, and I only ended up hurt. You can't change people. But if you ever question, I got to get back up and be loud again. If you ever question if you was watching this video by happenstance, no, you supposed to be watching this video. The Reddits have been connected, not on purpose. I just randomly picked this before the episode. Like, I just went through my save folder and clicked it. That's how I know. That's how I know. And maybe that was a sign for me that I'm not repeating myself. Is this a full circle in the same episode? Do y'all see God working? Do y'all see God working? All right, next. Sometimes relationships end even though both parties still love each other. Yes. Yes. You can't make someone love you the way you want to be loved. Wow. It said, why are you trying to make me cry? That's true. You can't make nobody do nothing. Nothing. It's possible to get someone to tell someone how you feel loved, and maybe they listen, but you can't make them. That's, ooh, one sentence. You can't make someone love you the way you want to be loved. Last one. Sometimes you have to leave someone you really care about to take care of yourself and for them to get better too. Even though they might be a great person, you have to put your mental health first. I feel this on so many levels. I broke up with the most perfect partner of 3 years. It's been 4 months and I still don't know whether it was the right decision, to be honest. I love your honesty, girl. I love your honesty. You never know, you know? Every move is not always the best move, and you never know till you are experiencing it and realizing it's not. Okay. The next Reddit segment is, what's a fun fact that nobody asked for? The speed at which an insect can run is limited by its leg length. Cockroaches have hind legs, which are longer than the front forelegs. In some cockroach species, when running at full speed over flat ground, the front forelegs leave the ground. The cockroach's body acts like an airplane wing, flying just above the ground, kicking along with its back legs. Cockroach. Why we used to say cockroach? It's cockroach. Okay, interesting. I think I've seen them run like that. When you turn the lights on and them boys start running, they be basically flying. That's how they run so fast. Louie Louie was a number 2 hit in 1963 for the Kingsmen. The vocals were so garbled and slurred, rumors spread that the lyrics were dirty. The FBI investigated the song on suspicion of violating obscenity laws. After 2 years, they decided the lyrics were unintelligible at any speed. Okay. Okay. Why did they have to investigate? Oh yeah, why did the FBI investigate swear words in a random song? They want to make sure there was no secrets getting out. Why? How was the song number 2? How was it a hit? And they ain't even saying words that make sense. No disrespect, but Bone Thugs and Harmony, I only heard of one person that know the words. FBI wasn't looking through that song. Crossroads, my bad. I mean, almost all of Bone Thugs and Harmony. And tell me what you gonna do. There ain't no place to run. Nothing comes to you. God's got it, and I'm gonna miss everybody. What are words at? But I have heard someone say all the words, and they match. And they have lyrics, so they are saying words. But number 2, I can't question number 2 then, because Crossroads was fire. The video was scary, but the song, we used to be bumping. Next, the man who killed John Wilkes Booth cut off his own testicles with scissors. Fun fact for me in my life, right? Whenever I talk about history and how, like, I don't remember history, I don't get history, like, I only get the history that I'm interested in. I only get the history that I'm interested in, and that is Black history. Every time I ended up in, like, AP, whatever history, senior year or junior year, one of the two. AP US history. Wow, that's easy. And every time I talk about history, it's John Wilkes Booth. Every time. I don't remember much about him, but I know his last name was Booth. Anywho, yeah, that's what he did to old John Wilkes. He did it before. Oh no, this is the man who killed John Wilkes. The man who killed John Wilkes Booth. Cut off his testicles with scissors before he killed him. He was hyper religious and slept with a prostitute. To punish himself, he cut it off. Okay, interesting. Dragonflies suck water up their butts and shoot it out like jets when they get tired. So when their wings get tired, that's good. That's funny. I feel like God has a sense of humor when he be making certain people. And he makes certain animals. He makes certain concepts. Well, I guess not concepts, but he makes things go certain ways. He has a sense of humor. Yeah. Someone said maybe they wouldn't be so tired if they didn't haul around all that butt water. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Dragonflies suck water up their butts and shoot out like jets. That's a hidden talent. I'm not going to lie. All right, next. There is a forest that is 107 acres, but made up of only one tree. Thousands of aspens that share a single root system. Wow. Wow. 107 acres. We over here thinking 2 acres, 5 acres is big. 107 acres of just one tree. It's probably just not one big tree. It's probably like, they all connected, whatever. A baby could swim in a blue whale's veins. That's how huge it is. Oh my gosh. Even if we're talking about a newborn baby, veins? I low-key want to see a blue whale up close, but I don't want to see a blue whale up close. You know what I'm saying? But that's wild. That's a big bitch. Yeah, but every time I try to get my baby to swim, he just flounders around and blows bubbles at me. Lazy ass. Okay. That's wild. Fire smells different depending on how far from the flame your face is. This sounds like a trap. I better test it. Make sure to get close. The smell is the best. That smell is the best. Huh. I'm going to keep that in mind, but I'm going to say yes. Because when you're very far away, it smells like just smoke. But when you're close to the fire, I can't remember what it smells like, though. But I do remember smelling it. The smell changing the closer you get. I'm going to say that's true. Dr. Seuss invented the word nerd. Really? I want to look that up. Do we have time? I think we do. Nope, not on that tab. Not on that tab. Dr. Seuss. Oh, he named the creature Nerd. 1950. God damn, Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss, when you came out. When was the first Dr. Seuss book published? 1927. God damn. Imagine having that kind of legacy, boy. 1927? That's almost 100 years. Wow. Leonardo da Vinci was the first person to correctly conclude that a human erection is caused by blood. Before him, everybody thought it was air and that a strong breeze could cause an erection. A strong breeze can cause it, but yeah, I know what you mean. That's wild. So how did the strong breeze get into the body to cause it? Oh, people used to think that erections were powered by air rather than blood. Ooh, I'm glad brains developed and got technology and education got better. Cause what? I'm judging it because I wasn't there, but how could an erection be powered by air? I can't even speak properly. It got to be something from in the body, unless you do you technically have air in your body? You have gas, because gas comes out as air, right? I don't know. Okay. There's 15 more facts in the comments or in the caption, and we're going to come back to those next week. Because, yes. So now we're going to jump into the last two segments of the day, and it's what I've learned this week and my challenge for the next week. I think my challenge for this week is going to be the same as next week. But what I learned this week, I learned that my brain is okay with being able to accept that I can't do it all. Like, even the things that I need to do in a day, that I can't do it all and without beating myself up, right? And I feel like I am in a more emotional state right now for whatever reason. The time of the month just left, but it's like I'm able to, obviously I've been able to process my emotions, but as they come, process them as they come, like step to the side, go around the corner, go upstairs, blah, blah, blah. I guess I just learned to accept that I'm not superwoman, and I will never be, because I think that's a pressure that most moms put on themselves. And when they can't complete all the tasks in one day, things just don't go the way they're supposed to go. Like, we're very hard on ourselves. So I'm understanding and realizing more and more. This is something that I obviously knew, but it's like, certain things come, you have certain tests, and certain things just show you more and more how that's true. So I just had one of those kind of moments this week. So yeah, I'm not Superwoman, and I don't want to try to be anymore. Like, I'm doing the best that I can, and that's what it is. What happens. What gets done, gets done. I'm going to try my best to get most things done. But if it's not, I'm not going to be hard on myself. I just know that I have a lot on my plate, and I can't be mad if I don't eat all the food. I ate most of it, and I ate the things that were supplemental, and I prioritized. And that's all that matters. Okay? So that's what I learned. That's what I was reminded of. Let's say reminded of and not learned. Sorry, I didn't write these down beforehand. I forgot today was Tuesday. Well, I didn't forget. I was just so busy. Like, there's just too much going on right now. But my challenge is going to stay the same. My challenge is just being consistent on all levels of my life for the things that I do have planned, that I do need, things that are going to get done regardless every single day. Staying consistent and in my routine, in my schedule. That's just my challenge. That is a challenge every single day, because this is just going to be a new kind of schedule, new kind of routine, new kind of way of living for all of us. And I'm excited, but also very stressed and very scared, not gonna lie. But it's not something that's hella detrimental, so it's fine. So my challenge is just being consistent and keeping that promise that I made to myself. I think a tip that helped me really quick with anything in life when I was, am I still an entrepreneur? I don't know. Does this count as being an entrepreneur? But when I was an entrepreneur selling skincare products, the thing that helped me kind of try to change my mindset, because I was going down a negative hole, other than what I'd shared with y'all before, which was looking at things differently, as in I get to do things versus I have to do things. But one thing I normally do, and I still do to this day, is procrastinate. But what helped me, can I get to the goddamn point? What helped me was realizing that, like, okay, if I don't do something that I said I want to do, I'm disrespecting myself. I'm letting myself down. And when I heard it and I put it that way in regards to me, it was like, are you going to keep procrastinating? Are you going to let yourself down, or are you going to get to work? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to ever in your head knowingly know that you let yourself down, even though we all know that most of the time we are in our own ways. We are in our own ways most of the time. That's just how it is. So when I heard it, it was like, oh, you made a promise to yourself and you're not fulfilling that promise. If you made that promise to someone else, you fulfill that promise. You do it because, they're expecting you to do so. You should expect that from yourself. right? So in order to not disrespect myself, in order to keep the promise that I made to myself, I just do, right? And it is a challenge. It's not easy, but it's still like the thing that helps me is reminding myself that I made a promise, and I cannot be disrespecting myself. I wouldn't disrespect myself in any other way, so I can't do it this way. And that's what helped me. And I hope you take that and that helps you. All right. So that has been another episode of Soulevision, the safe channel to your soul. I hope this episode was very safe for your soul. I hope that you received it well. I hope that you realize that you're not here just by chance. It's all connected, from the topic to even the let loose parts. They were all connected. They were all something that you need to hear. So I would ask that you guys like, comment, subscribe, give a rating, do what you gotta do, put on your notifications so you know when I upload the next video. Comment how you feel. How does this podcast make you feel? And until next time, bye.